Hi, I'm Susan Conover, and today I'm going to show you how to weave the seat for this beautiful little shaker style weaving chair. These chairs were used throughout the shaker communities for various tasks. We're going to begin by putting the warp material on the chair seat. The warp runs from front to back and back to front. I'm going to start with one of my carpet tacks and my hammer and place this on the chair rail. And I want the nail to be placed so that it is not sticking above this rail. And we're going to begin to weave. You want to move this material over so that it's thoroughly covering this back rail. And when this chair was made, the rails were left unfinished. It allows the tape to grab a little better and stay in place. I'm going to cut this about here, but before I do that, I'm going to go back and tighten all this. And not brute force tightening, but just tightening it up a little bit, because everything is going to come into play when we start weaving with the weft. It'll kind of cinch everything up and make it nice and taut. So I'm going to measure up to here, about 1 inch away, bias cut or an angle cut. Traditionally, the shakers used a little pillow sewn out of muslin filled with horsehair or sheep's wool to place in between the two layers. And at this point, we're going to put a pillow form in here that I bought at Joann Fabrics. It's a lot easier, and I think it gives the seat a lot of stability when we're all done weaving it. So we're going to place this in here. There we go. And now I'm going to tuck my little story in here. And the story is about who made the chair, who wove the chair, and the little town that we're from, and the date. This is always fun, so that someday someone's going to find this and get really excited about knowing the history of this chair. At this point, we need to fill in this triangular area here that wasn't covered by our original warp material. So I turned the chair upside down, and I don't want those finials to be scratched, so I just put it on a stool. If you don't have a stool the right height, you know, packing blankets. Some folks put tennis balls on those finials so that they don't get scratched. And this is where my trusty vice grips come in handy. I want to go about 4 inches down from the back post. Use one of our number 3 tacks and squeeze that in. Once I put on the 1-inch tape here and here, I decided I still had room to put one more piece on each side. Make sure there is enough room here for one more piece of 1-inch tape that'll come up over this rail, and we're going to squeeze in our weft material across here for our very last pick on our weaving. Now we're ready to weave the weft. The Shakers were quite innovative people with many inventions to their credit, one being the Shaker chair vise. I was fortunate enough in 1997 to find this under our Christmas tree with my name on it. It certainly makes weaving the chairs easier. There's not as much stress on the finials or on my back. So we're going to start with our weft material, which runs side to side, and I'm going to just place this with one tack, turn this over, and we're going to start weaving. And we're going to do a plain weave, so I'm going to go up over the chair rail, over the first tape, under the next tape, over, under, and then pull it through. And it's not brute force. You're just going to tighten it up a little, and I'm going to push this up like this. Here we go. Just turn the chair over and do the same thing on the bottom of the chair. Making sure that it's always straight. Some of the weaves that you could do are herringbone, basket weave. There's numerous weave structures that you could do. At that point, I would suggest using the 5/8 tape rather than the 1-inch wide tape. It's much easier to be moving these weft pieces up now snugly. I'm tempted to pick up this warp end right now with the weft material, but when I do that, it doesn't lay up next to the other warp piece. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to skip that one for right now. We'll catch it the next time around. But as I weave my way down this pick, I notice that this warp end now will lay nicely in place. So I'm going to pick that up. That's one of the little ends that we added into that blank triangular space. So now it's time to pick up this other warp end that we added early on. And it lays nicely right up next to the other warp end. And now it's getting a little tight, so I'm going to use my little shuttle. Some people use butter knives and spoons and all sorts of things. I have found that the best thing to use for this is this wooden shuttle. They are available from shaker workshops as well as Royal Wood. And at this point, I can't go any farther. I can't add an additional 1-inch tape here. We're going to go under. Going to put a little number 3 tack in there. Push the rest under the weft material. And the chair is done. Nice.